We are discussing Disney Sorcerer's Arena. And I started playing this game, 4 days ago?
Yeah, basically.
So a little bit of background. You and I both used to play Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes like crazy. I know a lot of people say Disney Sorcerer's Arena is a carbon copy of Strike Force, but...
Well, more Galaxy of Heroes, I'd say, than Strike Force. Strike Force has a lot of additional functionalities that either haven't been introduced yet or just not a core of this newer version of the game.
Right. And, honestly, I never played Strike Force, but I kind of looked at it as a carbon copy of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
Yeah, that's exactly. At least at the beginning it was. And then, it just all kind of went downhill for both games.
Yeah. I mean, basic RPG, farming characters, doing adventures, missions, leveling up, gearing. There are 7 stars to characters. Clearly the base of all these games is basically the same.
It's spending $100,000 to win.
Yes, it is free to play. It is definitely not free to win.
It's free to play, pay to recommend.
Correct. So you and I were talking because I wasn't playing any real serious mobile games like this for a while. And I had picked your brain as to what you recommended to start playing. And this game was your recommendation. And so far, 4 days in, I'm at level 30, 5 days in, and I'm enjoying myself quite a bit so far. Compare this game for me to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
So, first of all, the basis in terms of leveling, in terms of gearing, that core is exactly the same. We're talking, it might as well just be a carbon copy, slap Mickey where Luke was. But the biggest thing I like is that it's not as much of a time grind. And you're not, other than your arena, you're not really time dependent of being on there. Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, between the specific raids, the timing of certain things, you had to be on there at 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7 a.m. At least 5 times a day, you had to prepare your life around that. And this game, I wake up, in this kind of quarantine environment. I wake up around 7:30 in the morning usually, and I go onto the game. I play a little bit, and then periodically throughout the day, I might go and play it a little bit. And the only time I really I'm usually on it is about 8:30 to do my last couple arena stuff. But otherwise, it's just kind of a fun distraction from work. While Star Wars: A Galaxy Hero was a distraction from Star Wars: Galaxy Heroes.
It's so true. We were so addicted. I mean, I could tell you when it was that arena time, and again, I was top 5 pretty consistently during the arena payout time. And that last hour, where you had to make your climb and try to get to number 1, was so brutal. And look, I'm not top 10. My place is 1900 that I just got down to. So I have a ways to go. But, so I imagine in this game, the top 10 might look something like that.
So I'd say it's pretty, it's definitely play to place elite. Right now I'm number 87 and I fight for that. And you clearly see those people who bought their teams who all of a sudden skyrocket up. So I started a little after launch and I've done an optimal farm, but still you see those people who start at the same time who have all 7-star characters. Or all the incredible characters that just came out. Come on, you just dropped $1,000. That we all know that, and there's not much hiding it. So I think that's the one limitation. But still, unlike Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, there's a clear grade and a fair one drop down from the number 1 to the top 100, through the top 100, and even down below that. So it's not like you're facing a major detriment. We're talking about if you place top 100, it's 1,100 currency, and number one is 1,400 currency.
Interesting.
So it's not like you're missing out on a ton. And truthfully, the gems, it's a little of a drop, but it's not anything so substantial. While Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, if you weren't top 10, don't bother.
That's a really good point because, yeah, you know what? Let me look at it right now. I'm going to pull this up. If we look at the payout structure, this thing is moving. Here we go. All right, yeah. So I'm at 1,900 whatever. So my current rank is the 40 crystal range.
Yeah. So
yeah, you're right. No, you're absolutely correct. So
yeah.
Number one in this game is getting 300. Then there's a 50 drop off, and then it's
look at 50 to 100
drop off. Yeah, there's only 10 gem differences here. Again, I'm gonna just a disclaimer for me especially. I might use some Galaxy of Heroes lingo because I'm just conditioned for it.
It's been beaten into us whether we like it or not.
Exactly. So there's going to be some conversion time, but you would get the equivalent of 500 gems at rank 1. So you're right. The difference between first place
and 1,000. Let's talk about 1,000.
Ridiculous.
And the fact is, for those exclusive characters that are available from the tournament currency, you need 8,750 currency to unlock 5 shards. So that basically means as long as you're placing in roughly the top 500, you can get at least 1 usage from that currency a day, which is big. You compare that to other games, Marvel Strike Force, Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, you're not getting close to that. Come on, how long has Dennis been playing it trying to get certain characters maxed out?
Yeah, it's been he was close to getting Malik let's call it July 2019.
Yes.
And he still doesn't have him. But again, that has a lot to do with, whether you're the kind of player like you and me who are extremely methodical, reading all the abilities of all the players and enemies and figuring out strategies, theory crafting strategies versus I'm going to hit auto and expect to.
I was waiting for the auto comment. I was holding back, but yeah.
It's Dennis, you cannot hit auto and unlock Darth Revan. Or, you really have to read this stuff. It's just, certain things you can auto in games like this and things that have built in, I would call it not a paywall, but a strategy wall or strategic wall, where you really need.
It's kind of a combination of both. There is a paywall, but it's not a paywall that you can't get around with patience and strategy. If you don't expect to be top 10, then it's definitely a strategy wall. If you expect to be top 10, then it's a paywall.
Exactly. I was doing the Towers of Endurance today, and I came up to Scar, and I was just lazy. I was tired, so I just hit auto on something, and they're all going after the enemies, and then not touching Scar at all. And Scar does his roar, and there's hyenas.
And then all of a sudden he goes swat, 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 and you've got a dead guy.
Yeah. So. You learn the hard way. Oh wait, I can't just hit auto this thing, even if my level is appropriate for it. You do have to employ strategy. So, what do we really? I mean, I have at least a few thoughts as to what I'm enjoying about this game. Besides, and again, other channels will go through the caveats, and there are a lot of good channels out there at the moment, going over what they like about this game. You and I are coming from a place of very experience with these kinds of games.
Exactly.
So I think it would more behoove us to discuss what makes this game unique versus other games as opposed to just talking about the features of this game in general.
Well, I think you have to start with the characters. Like, this is, outside of maybe Kingdom Hearts, what do you think of any game that had combined wholesome characters with combat? So I think that's a fun spin on it.
That's a good point. It is a nice grouping of characters so far. And honestly, when you discussed getting into this game, one of the perks that you said to me was, you know what, there aren't that many characters yet. There's like 70, I think. And I'm not even sure all of those are playable. Like, I don't think anybody has like Maleficent or anything. So that's nice, because you're not, sometimes you get into these games, if it's like, I've been out for years already, you're getting in, and it's like, oh, there's like 300 characters. Where do I begin? And also, I find that
Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. And once a game is very mature, and I'm sure this is the case of Marvel Strike Force as well, there's like a very clear ideal path. Like Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, almost nobody ever wants to farm Phoenix, but everybody is told to do it right away so they can get Yoda, because two of them count as Jedi, and you can get Thrawn. And so all these people you may not care about at all, you have to do in order to progress. And, you know, I played that game for several years without really being able to concentrate on the characters that I wanted to use.
To that point, the thing I really like is starting out, you're given Mickey and Aladdin, two kind of like characters everybody has some affinity for. Yes. And they're in-game characters. So the fact is that you buying into and leveling them up is something you want to do on top of something that's good for you in the end game. Like, if you compare that to other games, your starting characters are usually garbage, and by the time you get them to Gear 5, you're like, why are they not doing comparable damage to other ones in the arena? So
it's funny you mention that, because I was... to get an idea, I've watched a few other YouTube videos, such as, you know, Cubs fan Han, who I used to follow from the Galaxy Heroes days. I think there's another guy, Panther Vision. Is that the name of his channel?
Yeah, it's something like that. It kind of looks like Pantera, but it's not.
Yeah, but it's I was really surprised, because I had been playing the game for like a day. I had Sorcerer Mickey, I had Aladdin. They're like, oh, these are like part of the top 10 on different lists. I'm like, wow, that's you start playing a game and right away you get like good usable characters. Who heard of something like that? So that's really nice.
Plus, half that list are all characters that you can start buying within the first couple days. So you can get Mordu pretty early. You could get Hades pretty early. You can get Shen Yu pretty early. All these elite guys that, up until the introduction of the Incredibles, were probably the top 3 minus Zerg, that unless you were a beta player, you had no shot at Zerg.
I see. Okay. Yeah. What do you... Well, let me say this. One of the things that struck me right away about this game that I thought was really cool, that separated it out from all of the other, 5-character team games out there, is your inclusion in the match as a player, in a way. You are a sorcerer, and in battle, you have your own spells that you can cast. So it's cool. Like, I feel like I'm in the battle, me personally, not just with my 5 chosen heroes or villains.
Yes, and on top of it, the spells, especially like you're just at the point where you're starting to unlock more spells. You'll see more coming.
Yeah, I just unlocked Headless Horseman today.
Yeah, okay, so perfect example. It's fun.
God, this is so cool.
Exactly, it's fun. It combines strategy with fun. So like Bucket of Soldiers, I know, quite controversial, but it's fun as heck. You got a little toy soldier going out and just bombing somebody. That's fun. So that's the thing that I like. Like there's other games, like I can think of a couple Japanese mobile games that did something similar in the sense of they made you the player as a playable character, summoning certain characters, but they didn't bring in that fun special spell or special trick that kind of breaks the barrier between strategy and like, oh, that was cool, and not just because I slaughtered somebody.
Yeah. And well, you know what's really cool about it is that it's an extra dimension of where your strength is as a player, because there was a match I was playing where it might have been PvE. I don't think it was PvP, but I was basically my whole team was slaughtered, but I had the trigger tower out, and I had just gotten the enemies to low health, and it's timing. It's so that you kill. Trigger tower gets like 100% speed. He gets his extra turn if he makes that kill shot. So I just like 1 death, 2 death, 3 death went down the line.
Exactly.
And my characters were not built up very strong, but me as a player, I guess comparatively in that one particular match, I was a high level compared to what that like battle note was.
Yes.
So even though my characters were not built up, my spells as the sorcerer were all built up. So I was like decimating the field, and it's happened the opposite in PvP. Like their PvP matches, I've gone in like just today. I'm like, oh wow, I have like 4 levels over this guy's characters. This should be no problem. But then his spells come out, and then boom. But
exactly.
You notice in PvP, I don't think you can see what your opponent's actual level is, and you can't see their spell selections. So you might go in there thinking you're going to destroy them, when in fact their level could be like 40, but their character's at 20 if they just didn't level them up. So you might think it's an even fight, but once that first sorcerer spell is thrown, it's like, oh wait, I'm really outclassed here. But that's really cool.
So just going into this, you being a Marvel character fan, do you think if someone had asked you to play Marvel Strike Force, that you might have played that instead of this?
I certainly would have considered it. There are 3 reasons why I did not end up playing Strike Force. I'm a huge comic book fan. My comic book collection is preposterous, and it continues to grow.
I was going to say, and growing.
Yeah, look, just today, before we got on this call, Donnie Cates and George Perez are doing signings at CGC. And I was prepping window bags to send some comic books down for them to get signed down to Florida.
Yeah.
Somehow, in the coronavirus, post-apocalyptic world, everything is completely shut down, but CGC comic book grading is considered essential services and is running full on. They sent me a whole email saying, hey, don't worry, we are essential. We are like good to go. We haven't slowed down at all. And I'm like, wow, that is messed up.
No, basically in Florida, comic book grading and the WWE are essential things.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Florida's a different place.
If we were 14 years old, that would be our view of essential things.
Yes, that you know what, and there's still some truth to that now, but
now we pretend to be more mature.
But yeah, so the one thing was I really love Marvel characters. And honestly, knowing how addicted I got to, this is going to sound strange, but one of the appeals of this game versus Strike Force was, in a way, I felt like this might be easier for me emotionally to walk away from. Because I feel like once I get access to certain X-Men characters and Fantastic Four, like forget it. I'll be just absorbed, sucked into that game. You know, I'm pretty committed to not spending any money. I'm committed to be free to play now, as opposed to my Galaxy of Heroes days.
I was about to say, you also said at one point in time that you were free to play in Galaxy Heroes, and I think everyone who was involved with that, short of Dennis, lied very quickly.
Yeah, correct.
I think of everyone, the only person who was honest on how much they spent was Dennis.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's pretty careful with his money too. So,
did he ever buy any bundle or anything?
I'm sure he did. Part of it was when we were in our guild, he wanted to keep up and get with us. Remember, he brought us all into the Richard Moore's guild, and then we got super strong and milked them for what they were worth, and we all ended up leaving. So
okay. First of all,
bringing us all up, and then leave him high and dry.
You ended up leaving. I got kicked out of Dick Wars.
Oh, sure, you were kicked out. That's hilarious.
Because I bled them dry.
Well, yeah. Well, it's funny. I remember I was an officer in those days. So they're like, yo, this WhoFartd guy is terrible. he just takes and doesn't give back at all.
So basically, for anyone who was not in Dick Wars, because I refute to support Richard Wars, I had a bad habit of, when you're supposed to be doing certain raids, if you unlock the character that's tied to the currency, that's the ultimate goal, you were not supposed to hit it and come in like first or second place. Now, I had a different view because there were other rewards tied to it, and I was looking out for me and not so much these beginner people because they never stayed in the guild. So it's not like we gained any benefit. So I would constantly come in first place.
Yeah.
And then I get yelled at, and then Matt would have to hear a lot of crap on, why did you bring in this guy? And eventually it led to me getting kicked out, but it ended up for the better because shortly after, well, let me rephrase that. It ended up for the better for everybody short of Dennis because we ended up in a much better guild while Dennis got left in the shambles that was Dick Wars.
Well, you know what? There's a certain point where just like, you guys left me high and dry. I'm like, listen, Dennis, I really can't vouch for you with this new guild if you are committed to just hitting the auto button. Like, it's, because the Sith raid was new, and you can't auto the Sith raid. Especially when it first came out, like, I remember spending like 6 hours straight on my phone just trying to do like 2%.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Of like the first wave's damage, and just figuring out what to even do in those days.
So for future videos, I think we need to include Dennis in this because outside of a few of our friends, nobody's going to know what we're referencing. On top of the fact we need to teach Dennis how to turn on volume so he can actually speak on these.
Yeah, and Dennis is such a great person to have because he's one of those guys. Everybody makes fun of him all the time, but it's because A, we really do like him and he really is a good friend.
Of course.
But B, the way he reacts.
Oh, that's the whole reason. The way he reacts is what makes you want to bust more.
It's amazing. He's such, it's why he's such a likable guy in that way.
Exactly. I've met very few people who don't like him within the first few minutes, and they especially like him even more once you find out if you bust on him, he'll just give you this look that just you can't not like.
Yeah, correct. It's Dennis's own fault, really.
I've told him that this is why we don't have nice things many times.
Oh, great. By the way, thank you for suggesting out of the gate that I farm Big Bad Wolf, because wow, that really made a difference.
I just thought you liked the abbreviation of BBW.
Well, yeah, for anybody watching this video, don't Google BBW. I was really shocked when you said PBW. I was like, wait, PBW?
No, Matt. If you're a 10-year-old kid, definitely type in BBW to Google and see what happens.
If you're 10 years old, make sure your parental controls are on, and then type it in.
Yes.
Wait,
yeah, parental controls are on? No, parental controls are off. Have some fun.
They really need to have a better, they need to change that a little bit. Because everybody started saying BBW. I'm like, come on, seriously? It's so bad.
I'm just waiting for the fish version of it, Big Bad Cod. That's the one I'm looking forward to.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sure, why not? All right, so getting back on topic. Another thing that really impressed me about this game is how many different game modes are here ready to go right away. Between Club Dungeon, Sorcerer's Tournament, Towers of Endurance, Summoner's Challenges, there's supposedly Club Conquest, which I haven't seen yet as a new player.
Okay, so let me just...
There's all the different battle modes.
Let me just jump in on Club Conquest, okay?
Yeah.
Right off the bat, Club Conquest is broken. It's cool in concept, but it's crashed the game more times since I've started playing than it's worth.
Oh,
so
really?
I'm really skeptical that they fix it this time because while I enjoy doing nothing and getting first place prizes,
well, you know what? That's what's great, isn't it? I was playing this game for 30 minutes, and I got a message. So sorry for the inconvenience. Here's like a billion potions and, gear and gems and Darkwing Duck tokens. And I'm like, well, something bad must have happened. But I just showed up to the party, and I'm a beneficiary. I'm not going to complain.
So let's see how it goes. But so far, that's the only negative I really have of this game.
Yeah, I've had some connectivity issues for sure.
Yeah, but they give you pretty decent prizes that it makes the loss of time worth it.
Yeah, you know what? It is. They're brand new. They're working it out. It's funny. I forget whose channel I was watching. Someone said, it was a weird comment to me. Someone said there was some issues. This video was like, I don't know. It was like early April, so it was when the game was kind of new. He said something like, there's bugs in this game. There's bugs. I don't understand why they released it now instead of waiting. And I'm thinking, you and I, like, in the business and financial world, and I'm like, let's paint this picture. You have an app, a mobile game that has been in development for a few years, or at least there was a beta version like all of last year, essentially, right, from what I hear?
Yes.
And it's a pay-to-win or pay to accelerate your speed at the very minimum, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is a potential source of big revenue, and the entire country gets locked down, and people who are not used to just sitting at home are sometimes forced to sit at home. If you and I own the rights to a mobile game that may have been broken that could potentially just give us lots of money, we would push the go button every single time. I was just like, what's the mystery? How could you not? You'd be like financially criminal or criminalized for not releasing a mobile game that offered in-game purchases while the entire country is locked down. I bet in that first week, once things really started shutting down, you know how many CEOs of like mobile game companies are like, listen, I know this game isn't ready, but we got to throw it out there. Like, people are sitting at home, and it's going to be huge. It's going to be this year is going to be like the mobile game wars, at least for the next few months.
Yes.
This is going on. There's going to be a huge push for, hey, if you got a game, you got to throw it out there because a lot of people sitting at home. Dennis is playing Star Wars. and Disney Sorcerer's Arena and Marvel Strike Force. And I was like, are you serious? Are you really playing all 3 games? He's like, I'm sitting at home. What else am I supposed to do?
He figured I hit the auto button and applied to all 3 games at the same time.
So that's it. That is the new app. This is the new app. Somebody's gonna make a Dennis auto run app.
Auto Dennis app.
Launches all your mobile games and just puts them on auto run. But last thing I can think of that I love this game for is so far PvP Arena. I have slaughtered people. I've been slaughtered. I've had very close matches that have had twists and turns at the very last second. I love that they did this. I think that's awesome.
So the only thing I don't like in the PvP Arena is just that every so often you get a match that you have no chance on. So I'll just shut the game off. I'll be like, I'm not wasting my time.
No, well, I know. It's like, yeah, that's the thing. I don't know how I wonder if they are, I mean, look, I have not been, like, since I hit level, say, 20, 25, I have not been paired up against someone who's, like, level 10. So I find that someone is, I mean, from, again, only like 4 days of observations or a few days. So I only lost PvP Arena like 3 days.
I've had some clear discrepancies. I've had some discrepancies where I've gotten somebody when I'm ranked, my team's ranked 1700, and their power is like 1100, and I just like walk all over them. And then I've had the opposite where I faced a team where everybody's 7-starred, and I just go, yeah, I'm not playing.
Oh my God, serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have like 2 3-star characters so far, and that's where I'm at.
Yeah. So, what level are you at right now in terms of the PvP arena?
I just hit 30 like a few hours ago.
No. In the PvP arena, like the silver and the different things.
Oh God, I'm not even close to silver. I mean, I'm at like top bronze, I think. Let me check. Here we go.
Okay, yeah. So like I'm
at bronze level 1. Look, to go from bronze 1 to silver 3 is 150 spots.
So I'm at, I think it's silver 1 I'm at right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm at silver 1.
Wow, 600 points. That's crazy. Yeah.
And it's a crapshoot of whether I'm playing a team that I could potentially beat, or just one where it's like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I mean, heck, I can launch a battle right now to see what happens. Let's see. I'm at 1,139 deck power. But that's your deck power. I don't know. Does that factor in, like, your level with spells?
The way I think that the ranking goes is I think it's just who's on right now and just randomize anyone who's in the same tier of bronze 1 as you.
Right, but the question is, are they looking? What things are they calculating in, and what are they?
I don't think they're calculating anything because I don't see any pattern or algorithm.
I wonder if it might be just based on your player level. No,
I have not seen comparable player level either.
Not at all.
All the time. Sometimes it's close, sometimes it's not.
Interesting. By the way, I've noticed that sometimes when you're dealt extra damage in this game, your spells generate faster. Am I crazy? Because I feel like there are times where I get blown all of my spells.
It's not extra damage. I believe it's the amount of times you hit and the amount of times you get hit. So, like, if somebody does a multi-attack, that will generate the spell more than if they done a single. So, like, perfect example, let's take Shen Yu. Shen Yu does that double headbutt. And sometimes he can speed fill that you see pop up. And that's essentially acknowledging that because of the speed of the attacks and the multi-attack occurrence, it's filling your rate much quicker.
Okay.
But And you do see the same thing with speed fill that occurs with the vulture. So it really varies depending on the characters, but for the most part, I think it's the more total hits that are acknowledged with a potential speed fill is the way you can confirm it if it's acknowledged or not, or the amount of people that get hit at one time.
Interesting. So in a way, there's a drawback to having AoE abilities, potentially.
Potentially, yeah. But I think that at least right now, most of the AoE abilities that we use have minimal impact. So Little Mermaid, when they're slow on the board and you use her intro, I don't think that really counts towards it. I think it's more the ones that can capture speed fill. So Vulture, what's his name? The little guy from Incredibles who runs around and kicks everybody's butt. Flash, something or other like that. I haven't seen the movie. I really shouldn't say that on a Disney-orientated video that I haven't seen one of the most
popular ones. You and I are born in early to mid-'80s, so the Pixar universe did not exist when we were kids. Like,
no,
what? We were like
Toy Story
when the Lion King came out. I'm guessing something like that.
Yeah, like we saw the movies, like we saw the Toy Story movies and things like that. We saw the Finding Nemos, but we didn't see it like, ooh, as a kid, I gotta see this, and then like I've got to have the action figures and everything like that. Or at least I hid when I got the Disney action figures in college. But I actually don't know if they have Disney action figures, but I'm just assuming.
Well, yeah, I would assume the same.
Yes. So that's, I think, the biggest thing. And especially now, maybe you'll see them a little more than I will, considering you've got another young one to kind of watch the stuff with. But outside of maybe Toy Story, I don't go, ooh, it's a Disney film, unless it's something exceptional.
Yeah, but you know, that's kind of the excitement too, is that I'm not familiar with all of these characters. Like, I'll give you one character who I have no idea what this character is from. I'm going to find him here. He's big and tall and mean.
Every Disney enemy in all.
Here we go. This is Mordu. I don't know what Mordu is from, but just looking at this character makes me want to watch whatever that is. It's like, wow, this is really cool. So it's kind of cool. I'm getting exposed to things I never did before, which is nice.
Yeah, there's a couple characters in there that I just went like, what the heck? Yeah, go all the way down. There's like one all the way at the bottom. Yeah, the guy who looks like Mega Man.
Oh, he's from, what's it called? Big Hero 6, I think. Yeah. And the guy, there's a villain at the bottom. And again, I know this because I have, you know, a young son at home. Otherwise, I would not have necessarily seen Big Hero 6.
So Mordu apparently is from the movie. Yeah, what is that guy from?
Yeah, he's from Big Hero 6 also.
Okay. So Mordu is apparently from the movie Brave.
All right, I got to see Brave now. Okay.
So that's where the girl with the bow and arrow there is from.
Yeah, and she looks really cool. I mean, she's got red flowing hair, a really cool dress. She shoots bow and arrows, so I still have to look at those will-o-wisp mechanics to see what's interesting there.
It looks like they kind of had, like, they created the male-female counterparts between the other archer dude and her, where they gave them both, like, usable parts, but they're not, like, neither are truly dominant. Like, if you were to combine their best traits, they would be really good.
Yeah. I really like the variety of characters they have. It's, like, all over the place. I mean, like, Big Bad Wolf is from, like, what, 1936?
Yeah, it's like 1940s. Like, it's just like Steamboat Mickey was about the only real like notable character before
Yeah.
that you could say, oh, there he is,
Yeah.
the Archer dude, whatever he's from.
Right. Yeah, I think
So
it's
I want to also say I was kind of surprised that they have Kiara from Tron and they don't have any of the other characters from Tron. Like, she's not the first character I'd think of from Tron to like introduce.
well, you know what it is. That makes you wonder. Part of this list is almost like designed for speculation, which we'll get into another video.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, very clearly, it's like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder who else they're going to release. So from this movie or movie series. So that's really cool. That'll be fun when we do the speculation video. I think there's a lot of ways to go. For me, speculation-wise, there's definitely got to be more leaders in this game. I feel like I've seen like 4 people with a leader ability.
We go back to even the Star Wars Galaxy Heroes things. That's how it started. Was they introduced base leaders to kind of simplify the game, and then the advanced mechanics came with the really complicated leaders.
I see.
So it gave time for the players to smarten up, and then kind of brought in like, all right, here's the heavy strategy. But it could just be that maybe they're gearing towards younger kids, and the fact is that when you introduce complicated leader mechanics, it's going to lose those kids unless they like are of a certain age. So like, what is
you know what it is though? I mean, there's a way to make that happy medium, which is introduce complicated mechanics that can work even if you aren't completely aware of what is happening. So you don't need to necessarily be the one with the abacus moving the things back and forth to necessarily be able to earn victory with a team you don't fully understand. It's like,
okay, I gotta ask, are you really using an abacus?
well, we mentioned Dennis earlier, so.
Wow.
I love it. Oh, nice. You got 5 trigger tokens?
Yep, that's from if you place at a certain level, you start from the club dungeon. You gain trigger, and you gain like that magic ball drop thing.
I love that summon, man. It's so awesome. You know what's so sick about it? Being able to summon it multiple times in a battle, potentially. It's like, oh, you killed it, and then like time goes on, and oh, it's back. So, yeah, I love the ability too of in game. There's a number of characters that summon other characters. Like I know from what you tell me, Jasmine summons Raja, her tiger.
Yeah, what I assume Raja's the name. I don't just know it's a big tiger that really just eats some damage and is killed off pretty quickly, but it just gives you depending on how good the team is, 1 or 2 attacks to be eaten. So it's good in that way. And if you don't want to carry a tank, it kind of helps mitigate some of the damage periodically.
Yeah, I like to. I'm liking these limited time award events too. Like the Queen's Clash just came out. They just did.
Well, I'll say this: I don't like the fact that Zerg is near impossible to get.
Yeah. Oh my God! I was in PvP here today. I'm like, oh, I just hit level 30. Let's see what's going on. And then the first team I fought at Zerg, I'm like, oh my God! I'm like, oh, how bad could this be, dude? Literally, first turn, just one shots one of my characters.
Oh, he just does one thing where he just fires rapid fire, and then when he kills them, just about kills the guy off, all of a sudden starts bouncing to your other guys.
So
it's like, oh,
crazy.
I didn't kick your butt enough. I'm going to make this worse.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I think what did we go over? We went over the characters, we went over the PvP, we went over spells. Didn't go so much into all the different game modes, just that there's a lot of different game modes.
No, I think that's more of a future thing. So let's end it with something really simple. who are one or two characters that you want to see that are not there yet?
Yeah, that's a big question because you're looking at multiple franchise companies. Because Pixar was a separate company before it was acquired by Disney, or was it like initially?
It was part of Disney at one point, and then I think it branched off, and then they had the option to buy, and they didn't, or some convoluted thing.
Okay, yeah, but you have multiple different organizations over 90 years with Disney.
Yes.
For content, so there's a lot to choose from. So I think who we might want in this game could be a great next step, and then do some speculation from there.
Yeah. So I got to say, I found this. I got to credit that somebody else came up with this, but I found it really funny. So Disney owns A&E, so they thought that Dog the Bounty Hunter should be the next character introduced.
That's awesome. Well,
So,
dude, just because this is called Sorcerer's Arena doesn't mean. I mean, look, think of it this way. What are the three mobile games we were just talking about?
yeah.
Marvel, Star Wars, and Disney. They're all owned by Disney now. I mean, I would imagine a company like EA, when you have like exclusive rights to a Star Wars franchise, maybe means that maybe the parent company can't put out their own game with those characters, but who knows? We could see Thor in this game.
So
I know.
So here's the thing that I really want to see happen if this does really go through. So I don't know if you've read the rumor that Disney is in talks to buy the WWE.
No, seriously?
So it's speculative. I don't know if you know who Dutch Mantel is. The guy who used to be Zeb Coulter, the old guy with the crazy mustache.
Okay.
So a couple of days ago, he had come out and said that Disney and Fox are currently bidding on the WWE. So,
wow.
Who wouldn't want to see Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior as summonable characters? Just saying.
That's like next level insanity.
And, then you can introduce a counter system, if you hit the right buttons at the right time.
Build your charisma, do a strong grapple.
Exactly.
Mickey, you know what? Actually, that is the only thing this game is actually missing. It is missing Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler doing commentary while the matches are happening. Oh my goodness, did you see that? Oh my God, whirlpool, whirlpool, whirlpool.
No, see, if they're going to do it right, it's got to be Vince and Jesse the Body.
Oh, Vince was the best commentator, wasn't he?
Oh
my God, this packed arena, Mickey Mouse is doing what to Goofy? My God, that's so wrong. Oh God, yeah, that's a good point to end the video. All right, dude, I'll talk to you later.